Think Clearly by Wilted Wallflower. There is this guy I always see on my bus, and I never see him get off. Always sitting in the same spot, always wearing the same clothes, and he never talks to anybody. It's almost sad how he just sits there all the time. No one approaches him, and he never tries to make conversation with anyone who sits near him. I wonder if he's homeless, I mused as I looked in his direction. One of his more striking features was his cerulean blue hair with black streaks in it, always pulled into a low ponytail at the nape of his neck. His skin was a sickly pale shade, his green eyes glossed over and lost-looking. He wore a pair of old, black, rounded glasses, formal clothes, surprisingly, and he always sat in an upright position. He had great posture for someone who sits on a bus for hours at a time. The bus driver never even tells him to pay up, like he does with everyone else. That would make sense if he was homeless. Today I'll talk to him, I told myself as I waited for the bus to come. I was trying to form a conversation in my head, or at least conversation starters. Hi, how are you? Why are you always on the bus? Are you homeless? Okay, maybe that one's a little much. Why don't I just say, hello, I happen to have seen you on the bus every day, and I was wondering why you never get off. Yeah, that sounds decent. Finally, the bus screeched to a halt in front of me, its doors opening with a creak. I made my way down the aisle, this time going to the very back seat to sit next to the mystery man. I turned to him hesitantly and then said, hello. I saw him stiffen, then he turned to me, and his emerald eyes searched my face. Uh, are you talking to me? I furrowed my brows. Yeah, I mean, you're sitting next to me. His face turned dark. You shouldn't be able to see me. My blood ran cold. What? He repeated himself, and I shook my head. No. That's not possible. That's what I'm saying, his voice echoed through the bus, yet no one reacted to it. He took a breath, then said, why don't I introduce myself? My name is Neil Howard. I died in the year 1903, I think, and I'm a ghost. He shrugged. You can probably see me because you're a medium. I cocked a brow. Medium? He paused. Well, a medium is someone who isn't a ghost, but they're not completely alive. He put one hand by me, and the other by the window. He motioned to the hand by the window. This is everyone who is alive. Then he motioned to his other hand. And this is the dead. You're in the medium, in between the two. He brought his two hands together. So you're saying I'm half dead? I deadpanned. No pun intended. He shrugged again. In a way, but mostly you're just able to see the dead, and not become one, or have an out-of-body experience. Out of body? I murmured. We'll get to that later, he smirked at me. But for now, the bus screeched to a halt again. You have somewhere to be. It took me a moment, but I stood up and started down the aisle. As I was leaving, I glanced back at the ghost, Neil. He waved at me, smiling. I smiled back, then got off. Maybe tomorrow, I thought. Maybe something will happen tomorrow. Who knows?